We are recording this webinar, and we will send the recording to everybody at the end of the webinar. And as I said, for those of you who just came in, my name is Adrienne Montgomery. I'm with ERP VAR, and I'm really excited today to be part of this webinar. We have two great partners of ours, Scanco and Fay Business Systems. We have Devin Ambron on the phone with us and David Fay. Devin's with Scanco and David's with Fay Business Systems Group. And Scanco is a market-leading warehouse management solution for Sage 100 ERP, Sage 500 ERP, and X3. And Fay Business Systems Group has developed this integration with the market-leading SugarCRM CRM application. So we're really excited to show you today how these two solutions work together to bring you a more complete sales and customer service solution. So just a little bit about Scanco and Fay Business Systems to get started here. Scanco's been an OEM partner for Sage 100 ERP since 1989. And as everybody knows, Sage 100 ERP was formerly known as Mass 90, and it is a market share leading mid-market accounting software. But it is a great software meeting the needs for warehouse management companies, distributors, and manufacturers. So Scanco is going to be talking about their warehouse management applications and mobiles applications today and how they work with Fay Business Systems Group SugarCRM integration. Fay Business Systems Group has been a longtime partner of Sage Software. They're a platinum partner. They also have embraced SugarCRM because of its open architecture and market-leading development in the CRM space. And they've won several awards for SugarCRM and Sage. So, David, I'm going to go ahead and let you talk to the SugarCRM slide since you have so much experience with SugarCRM.
Thanks, Adrienne. Great to be on the call with you guys this morning. I'm not going to read the slide. Everyone can read all this great stuff about Sugar, but just wanted to say, Sugar's the fastest growing CRM company in the world. There may be one or two that are bigger, but Sugar is certainly the fastest growing one. It's certainly the largest CRM provider that only does CRM software and nothing else. They've been around for a little over 10 years. They're up in Northern California, and it's won all kinds of awards over the last few years, and it's really an exciting product, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
So, perfect. And then why would customers pick Sugar, David?
Yeah, well, and so the interesting thing about this slide is this is why people might choose Sugar, and it's also why, many years ago we got involved with Sugar because there were so many great things about it that we really liked as opposed to all the other CRM software packages in the world. And so, number one, the choice of deployment is really a valuable thing. Choice of deployment means you can run Sugar in the cloud. It could be hosted at Sugar. It could be hosted at somewhere else, or you can put it on your own server, and it's all the same price. And that flexibility is something that a lot of the other CRM players don't have. And it's also the same product in any of those places. And our Sugar Sage integration works whether you have it on your own server or whether it's hosted at Sugar or hosted at Amazon or wherever you choose to host it. In addition, Sugar is called an open source product, which means the source code is available to anybody who wants to access it, which means the customizability and flexibility in using the software is unparalleled. You can literally make it do anything you want. There's a great tool inside of Sugar called the Studio that lets you make all kinds of customizations in Sugar without being a programmer. So there are things that most people can do, dragging fields around, adding new fields, that kind of thing. But if you have programmers on staff or you want to do something that's crazy, you can have a programmer do pretty much anything. What we say with Sugar is there's nothing that's not possible. There are some things that you may or may not want to do or might be too expensive, but there's nothing you can't do if you choose to. And then lastly, the cost of ownership. It's a very affordable product. There's a professional version and an enterprise version. The professional version tends to be what most people get, and that's $40 per user per month, which we find is a really affordable cost for a CRM software, especially compared to the other CRM options out there. So Those are the key things that we like about sugar. There's obviously a longer list than this, but this is sort of the big picture view of what we really love about sugar.
And also, just to make another point on this slide, I've noticed in using sugar that you can go out to the Sugar Exchange, correct? And there's a ton of different enhancements available just to purchase right there on the Sugar Exchange and implement on your SugarCRM license. So if you needed extra enhancements, how many are there now, David? There's thousands, aren't there?
Right. I think the last number was 3,000, but I don't keep track of it daily. But the last number was 3,000, and what Adrian's talking about is Sugar Exchange, which is a marketplace for add-ons for sugar. And the nice thing about that is because there's so many of those, it lets you know how much sugar has been adopted by different people and all the people in the world making additions to it and integrating it with other stuff. And we have, if you go on our website, we have integrations with 9 different other software packages. Obviously Sage is one, but there's 8 other things that we have integrations with, ranging from short telephone system to Constant Contact for email to Authorize.net for credit cards and everything in between.
So SugarCRM is integrated with David's application with Sage 100 ERP. And we'll just take you through the process here. Sales order is created in SugarCRM, or a quote, either a quote or sales order, turns into a sales order, and it goes into Sage 100 ERP. And then it flows over to Scanco to pick and pack, and then back into Sage 100 ERP, and then back into SugarCRM to update the salesperson that product has been shipped, update the sales order, and everything is a turnkey solution so that the salesperson never has to access Sage 100 ERP for inventory information or anything like that. All of that information is displayed from Sage CRM to SugarCRM. So the only application that the salespeople need to see or the customer service people need to see is the SugarCRM. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and launch the demo. I'm going to hand it over to you, David.
So hopefully you can all see a beautiful Sugar home screen. And so this is Sugar version 7, and we're looking at the home screen, and the home screen contains a bunch of dashboards. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, other than to say, the cool thing about our integration is that all the data that comes into Sugar from Sage through the integration is available on Sugar reports and Sugar dashboards. So you can see things here like, on David's dashboard, my top customers chart, and you can see here Shepherd Motor Works is my leading customer with 543,000 in sales, Capri Sailing Ships 170,000, and so on. And so this is just a little dashboard with some graphics about top customers. Over here, again, we brought in some other balance data from customers, and this might be used by your collections person or a controller, or even in customer service, you can see who the high balance customers are. You can see if somebody's on credit hold, but it shows you American Business Futures owes us $10 million and they're a bit over their credit limit, and so on. And Capri Sailing Ships owes us 141,000, but their credit limit's 200,000, so they're okay. And so this data just comes in from Sage whenever it synchronizes between the two, and the synchronizing can be every 10 minutes, every hour, every evening. Different users of our integration choose different syncing timing depending on the nature of their business. And so the dashboard contains other CRM type stuff. If you wanted to show some other things, you can see your sales pipeline down here, calls and other things. But the main thing to look at here is our dashboard, is the Sage information on the dashboard. And if I scroll down, you can see other things. And the dashboard is totally user definable. You can put whatever you want on there, and different users can have different dashboards with different things on it. You can see here's more Sage data. This is product sales history, and it shows us, which products are selling the most in a pie chart. And there's, a lot of colors in that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at quotes, and then we're going to enter a quote, and we're going to send that quote into Sage, and then Devin's going to take it from there, and then he'll come back to us after the order's been processed in Sage. So there's a couple different ways to enter in quotes. And Sugar calls them quotes, but they're really sales orders. And so what I just did was, I just brought up a list of all the quotes in the system. And the important thing to see here is the stage. And the stage is what tells the integration whether to send it to Sage or not. So the stage, if the stage is closed accepted, that tells our integration, hey, this is a real sales order, send it into Sage. If it's something else, if it's confirmed or draft or other things, it actually just means that we've entered it in, maybe one of our sales reps or someone in customer service has entered it in and is still working on it and hasn't gotten approval yet from the customer. So you can enter in quotes two ways. One is you can just enter it in from scratch. The other way, that's my favorite way, is to pull up an existing quote and just copy it to a new quote. So if we wanted to pull up this quote, this cabinet quote, January 2015, week 2, you would click on that, and it brings up the quote here. And this shows you our quote. And so we have cabinet quote, January 2015, week 2. It's an order number. It's confirmed who the billing account is, the bill to address. If the ship to was different, it could be a different ship to address over here. Here's the line items, subtotal, sales tax, if there's any shipping charges, and so on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this quote. So I just go to the drop down, I click copy, and here we go. So I can change the quote subject, and I'm going to say cabinet quote January 2015 week 4, because Capri buys this, every week or two. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go, you know what, I can change the quantity if I want. I can change the unit price. I can change the warehouse that it's coming out of, which is important in Sage. I can change the ship to address if I want. I can change anything I want. The main thing I'm going to do is I want to send this to Sage. So under quote Sage, I'm going to say close accepted, and I'm going to save it. So at this point, our Sugar Sage integration is running in the background, and it would run like I said, it could run every 5 or 10 minutes, it could run every hour, it just depends on what you want it to do. And so whenever the integration would run, it would then send it into Sage. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the presenter over to Devin. He's going to take over in Sage for a little while, and then we'll come back into Sugar and see how everything looks, after the order's been shipped. So Devin, go to town.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we're going to step inside of the demo server we have here set up in Sage 100 and say that this sales order has now been entered in. Now, from the Sage 100 side, the specifics of the customer and everything have already been entered in because, like he was saying, everything that's integrated in here is already going to have information that's inside of the system. And in this case, what they ordered is also entered here, and you can see the line items for each of the items that were submitted. Now, what I'm going to do from the Sage side is, really this is just to show you what it would look like here. But what the functionality of Scanco Warehouse allows you to do is that with a barcode-enabled mobile device or scanner, we're able to get the information live as the orders are being placed by the salespeople, and then in the warehouse, they're able to be fulfilled in the process of each of these as they're completed and the sales orders are entered into the system. Once we go back, I have the handheld up here, and I'm not going to go into too much depth about this. Maybe later on we can swing back around and I can talk about some of the other functionality, but for the purpose of showing the continuity between what we're doing inside of SugarCRM, that information being sent to Sage 100, and then us to ship, then we'll just follow those guidelines. So from the Scanco warehouse, as you can see here, I'm sharing an iPod with you that's connected to a barcode scanner. When we go into shipping, there's a few different ways we can ship. We have shipping. We can ship into shipping data entry or invoice data entry here. I'm going to select shipping data entry. It's going to prompt me to scan or enter my batch number. So I'm just going to go ahead and scan that in. Then it's going to prompt for my shipper ID. And if you haven't had a chance to see our software before, you'll notice that as each of the items are available to be scanned into as the fields, we have what we call a nice waterfall effect here, just so the users are able to know exactly what it is there to enter. So now, in the sales order field, we can go and go into the lookup feature, and you can see here that this customer, this Capri, is showing up at the top as the ship date of today, and it also shows the sales order number. Now we can select it here, or I also have the sales order barcoded so that we can enter it. Now it's going to prompt us to ship into boxes. Now, just depending on the size of these orders, you'll be able to, inside of shipping data entry, see all of the information as to what boxes and what quantity were in each box. So that information goes back into accounting and can also reconcile with any type of shipment tracking that you have configured inside of the software. So we'll select box 1. Now it's going to prompt me to scan for the item. We'll scan the first item that's on the order. Let's say we don't know what the item is on the order. If we go to item and we click lookup at this point, it's going to show me which item needs to be scanned versus which is ordered. So it's telling me that the H252 had 10 have been ordered and 10 are unshipped. So we need to select that item, scan it in the barcode, and then it's going to ask us for the quantity. We can scan the quantity or enter the quantity, and this item has been fully received. So then we're going to just go ahead and scan. It seems like this one's already in. So we'll select the H252. Then it's going to ask me for the quantity. Let's say we wanted to place 5 into one box and 5 into the other. We can provide that level of detail. As long as we go and scan in that first quantity, we can go to our next box, and you'll see there right next to the sales order number, it's telling us what box we're scanning into, and then it's prompting us which item. If we go into lookup, we can see that we've ordered 10, shipped 5, and we have 5 that are unshipped. We'll select that item again, and then continue fulfilling the quantity of 5. And then once we return to lookup, we see that there's no unresolved items left in the sales order. Because the software is linked up with live updating to Sage 100, all of the transactions that are completed on the handheld go instantly back to Sage as soon as they're sent to complete. And if multiple users are working on the system, then they're also able to do that. And now it has a feature here saying that we have other sales orders have unresolved items. We're just going to go ahead and click yes and send it back to Sage 100. Now, if we were to go into Sage and shipping data entry and enter the order under the batch, we can find that item there. So what I'm going to do is go inside of shipping data entry. And it's going to prompt us for our batch number. Enter the shipper ID. And as long as our import all right, so it's showing it's in use by another user, but it would appear inside of shipping data entry right here inside of Sage. So then from this point, since the information is now sent back into Sage 100, then we can hand it back over to David, and then he can show you the last piece that we'll do inside of Sage, inside of SugarCRM.
Great, thanks, Devin. So what happens now is, assuming the order's been shipped and the order gets invoiced, then data is going to flow back into Sugar. And so the first thing I'm going to show you is an account screen and what that looks like with some of the Sage data that comes back in. So I'm going to actually use the Lakers as an example because they have a lot of good data, and for some reason I like talking about the Lakers. I'm not really sure why right now, but you know, it's just how it is. So so you'll see there's on the Lakers tab, there's all kinds of sort of administrative information about this customer, you know, their address, their industry, their phone numbers, email address, things like that. If I click on financial data here, it gives me data about the Lakers that comes from Sage. So it's got the Sage salesperson, and then it has aging categories, so you can see the Lakers are way past due here. They owe $51,000 in aging category 4. Their total balance is $51,000. They're not on credit hold, although, you know, I might put them on credit hold. The credit limit is only $25,000. So this is just sort of some overview financial data. Then as we scroll down the screen, we can see other information about the Lakers. So we list some contacts here for the Lakers: Jim Buss, Irvin Johnson, the usual cast of characters, and their contact information, and then some Sage information. So first we have Sage sales history here. So we can see that in April we sold $11,200. In May we sold $10,000. In June we sold $2,300, and in July we sold $44,000. And here's our year-to-date sales data. So we get a great snapshot of what our sales history has been with this customer. In addition, we get detailed invoice history. So this is showing all the invoices in invoice history with this customer. And so we can see the invoice number, the amount, if there's a PO number, the salesperson, the invoice date, and so on. And we can drill down and get more details if we want. For example, on this invoice, if we wanted to see what were the line items on this invoice, I'm going to drill down on that. And let's see what we get. So this gives me more details about that invoice, and I can see, okay, we sold them some file cabinets. We sold 5 of these at $127, 10 of these at $80, 10 of these at $78. So that tells us exactly what's on the invoice. In addition, if we're integrated with UPS or FedEx, it gives us the tracking information that comes from Sage. And you'll notice I can click on this, and if I click on this, it's going to take us to the UPS site, and it will give a customer service person, you know, delivery information. So that's kind of cool, especially from a customer service standpoint. If they're in your CRM software, they can pull up an invoice or an order at any time and get the shipping details right there. So that's invoice history. In addition to that, we get a list of all the open invoices for this customer. So if we're, you know, in customer service and we're talking about collections or things like that, we can see, okay, here's a list of the 5 invoices that are outstanding that add up to that, that outstanding amount, that $57,000. Then we get one of my favorite subpanels, and these are called subpanels, by the way, which is sales history by product, and it tells us, you know, sorted in year-to-date sales order, which are our hot sellers for this particular customer. And so it tells us we sold $30,000 worth of hot dogs with this customer this year. We didn't sell anything last year. $15,000 of this 330-010, you know, a bunch of red vines, a bunch of peanuts that we've sold to this customer. And this is really valuable data, especially if you're a sales rep and you're about to go into a meeting with this customer. It gives you, you know, at your fingertips, sales history. And this will all show up really nicely on an iPad. So again, if you're going into a meeting in the field with the customer, you can access Sugar on your iPad, bring up the screen, and have all this data, have open invoices, sales history by product, and everything else right there. More Sage data. So there's sales history by product line. And so again, if you've set up inventory items in Sage, you know, each item gets assigned to a product line. And so food is getting the most sales, followed by cables and accessories, wood, furniture, and accessories, and so on. There's also sales history by category. Whenever you set up an inventory item, there are some category fields. You usually find them on the second tab of the inventory item maintenance screen, and you can get sales history by category. So, you know, we're using colors for our category. So, you know, we sold a lot of brown stuff to the Lakers, which makes sense because there's, you know, a lot of peanuts. Then there's cash receipts history. Again, this is just more details coming in from Sage, and the idea is that if you get the integration and you get Sugar to work with Sage, your team should have to go into Sage less and have more details at their fingertips within Sugar. And so again, this tells you, you know, the deposit date, the invoice was applied to, the amount, and so on. And then the last thing is that it's giving you sales order history here. And so all the orders that get entered are listed here for the Lakers. And so you can see the order number, the date, there's a PO number, the type, and then the stage. And the cool thing about the stage is that it gets updated from Sage. So you can pull up an order and go, hey, it was closed accepted, it was delivered, it's still in draft mode, it's open, and so on. And then beneath that are just some standard sugar subpanels, so you can attach documents to accounts. You can track opportunities of sales reps. You can track phone calls, meetings, take notes. This is standard CRM stuff that doesn't necessarily relate to the integration, but it's cool stuff to have related to this account. So I know I went through all this stuff really quickly, but the idea is I wanted to give you a flavor for all the cool data that flows back into Sugar related to a customer. The other thing to show is one of the other things that syncs into Sugar from Sage are the inventory items. And Sugar calls it a product catalog. And so this lists all the items that are in Sage, and most of the key data in a Sage inventory item flows into Sugar. So for example, you can see peanuts. We have 541,000 peanuts in stock. This is our standard cost. This is the list price. This is the standard price, and so on. And many of our users say, well, can we hide the cost because we don't want people to see the cost? And yes, you can hide the cost or not sync the cost. And so it's no problem with that. We're just showing it for purposes of the demo. And so again, this is kind of cool. If you want to give salespeople the ability to look up items and see what's in stock, you can do that because it's all right here. In addition, one of our versions of our Sugar Sage integration allows you to look at quantity in stock by warehouse. And so you can drill down and get that level of detail as well. And so I think that's the key stuff that we wanted to show in terms of the integration. I'll go back to the dashboard. And again, you can see all the cool stuff that comes in from Sage into Sugar. But Adrian, I think that's, that covers the stuff I wanted to show.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Thank you, Devin. David, are there integrations with market-leading email management companies like Marketo, Pardot, HubSpot? I believe that Sugar integrates with other market-leading marketing automation companies as well.
Yeah, Sugar integrates with pretty much all of them, whether it's HubSpot, Marketo, Pardot, Acton, Sales Fusion, all the leaders Sugar has integrations with. So if you're doing that kind of thing, that data can come right into Sugar.
So let me go ahead and show your contact information. So David's contact information is on top and Devin's is underneath that. I'm going to launch just a couple polls for the audience real quick while we're going through the questions. So I would just ask the audience if you could answer these two questions that we have. Are you interested in learning more about the SugarCRM Sage 100 ERP integration application? And David, while we're going through these polls, can you give us an idea of how long it takes to do the integration and what's involved? Is it pretty simple?
Yeah, I mean, we've done this so many times right now. We have it down. So there's documents that we send you that, list all the information that we need from your Sage implementation, like, what version are you on and what kinds of things do you want to sync and, what's your customer numbering plan and things like that. And so we have a setup form that we send over to you once we move forward. We get that filled out. We schedule a planning meeting, and usually again, it depends on how much you want to sync and whether your Sugar is new or whether you've been using it already. But usually this is something that can be set up within a week or two. You can be up and running, or quicker. It just depends on what kinds of things you want to be synced.
And you can also resell the SugarCRM application as well. So if a customer was brand new to CRM and wanted to acquire CRM, you could go ahead and offer the SugarCRM along with your integration app and set the whole system up?
Yeah, we do that in most cases. We do that. So there's a SugarCRM implementation process, and then there's the integration. And with Sugar, we have different programs. We have some jump starts that help people get up to speed quicker. Or we have more elaborate implementations, again, depending on the requirements.
Because there's a lot that you can do with Sugar. So you can help a company identify what their needs are based on what they do and take them through the training process of the modules in Sugar that would apply to them.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like you mentioned earlier. You were asking about marketing automation integration. I think the thing about sugar is, and we didn't go into sugar in detail because this isn't a webinar about sugar specifically, but sugar has three aspects to it. It has a sales aspect to it, a marketing aspect to it, and a support aspect to it. And so, depending on your what you're looking for, and the most important things, we have a lot of customers that only want to implement CRM to manage their sales team and their sales process and aren't interested in marketing or support. And we have other people that are only interested in using sugar for support, but not for marketing and sales. And then we have other people that are interested in, two or three of those areas. And so it really depends on, what your objectives are with the CRM software. But I think the bottom line with any CRM software is it's really critical today to be able to get a 360-degree view of your customers and have one central repository of all information about your customers. Many times we're called into clients where they have data in 3, 4, 5, 6 different systems, and it's really hard to make any sense of the data or the information. And some people are looking at one set of information, other people are looking at different information, and it's confusing. And the beauty of CRM is it can bring it all together in one place. And so that's what we try to do with Sugar, is give you, one central place where all your customer data is located. And that way, anybody in the company, whether they're on the sales side or whether they're in management or whether they're a customer service or support person, everybody's looking at the same stuff. And that's where a lot of the value lies with CRM software.
And we have another question here. We currently have Sugar and Sage 100 ERP. How can we find more information on the Scanco system? Also, we use a third-party warehouse that does not have Sage. Would this Scanco system work without the warehouse having Sage? Devin?
What I would say is if it's a 3PL situation where they're taking care of everything and they're generating the orders and sending it to the 3PL, the benefits of using the barcoding solution from Scanco wouldn't be there because they're not actively managing the warehouse. Now, if they have inventory that they're managing locally and they're shipping some of it out, but they have a 3PL that's assisting them, then it would be a benefit. But that would be a question that I would have just to make sure I understand what the process is like on the operation side.
And David, this one's for you. If I have a salesperson located in New York, my home office is located in LA, that's where we fulfill all of our product. Can the salesperson in New York on a Saturday place an order and see the information in Sage 100 ERP without accessing it?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. The idea would be, let's assume that you have your sales order synchronization configured to run every hour. Then if they entered their order, in Sugar, at noon on Saturday, then, by 1 o'clock it would be in Sage, at the latest. And then, it could be processed in Sage, and whatever happened in Sage could be back in Sugar within another hour. So, if you were running it every 15 minutes, it would obviously be a shorter period of time. But yeah, the answer is that's one of the great advantages of this, is you can enter stuff in Sugar, and voila, it ends up in Sage and then comes back to Sugar.
And I'd just like to remind the audience that I have another poll up. Are you interested in learning more about Scanco's Pick and Pack solution along with Sage 100 ERP? And both of these systems can run independent of one another. By the way, Scanco can run independent of Fay Business Systems, SugarCRM integration, and vice versa. But they're a nice combination as well.
And I want to say, too, from the Scanco side, if anyone's interested in learning about Scanco, that our biggest strength is our integrations with other solutions. So in addition to the SugarCRM, there's a ton of other stuff, and you can even find resources as to what we integrate with here with ERP VAR. We've done quite a few webinars. So if there's anything you have that you need, that you have inventory that you're managing, definitely reach out to us and give us a call so that we can get involved and figure out if our consultants can help you guys craft a solution.
And also, just Devin, from a knowledge standpoint, manufacturing-related applications, EDI-related applications, shipping-related applications. kind of, background information on all those types of applications because you have to interface to so many different ones. So you're a good point of reference.
Yes, thank you for that.
So I'm going to go ahead and close this poll out and share the results. It looks like 38% of you are interested in learning more about Scanco's solution. I'm going to leave the contact information slide up for a minute. And I just wanted to say to the audience, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We know that an hour of your time is not easy to come by, and you committed to an hour, and it looks like we're going to be finishing up a little bit earlier than that. David and Devin, would you like to leave us with anything further?
Well, I think we put it all out there, but I appreciate the time and everybody's time listening to what we were doing. If you have any more questions about sugar in general or the Sugar Sage integration, feel free to reach out.
Let's play barcode laser tag. Happy 2015.
Thank you, you two. All right, everybody, goodbye. Have a great day.